The Whispering Forest, 10-minute scary story. The night had fallen heavier than usual. Fog rolled over the ground, thick and suffocating, wrapping the forest in a grey blanket. Every tree seemed taller, darker, more menacing than the last. I could barely see my hands in front of my face, and each step into the soft earth sounded like a scream in the silence. I had been walking for hours, though it felt like minutes and days all at once. The trail I had followed earlier was gone, swallowed by the fog. The forest had a way of changing when you weren't looking, and I felt like I was no longer on any path at all. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig made my pulse spike. Something was out there, I could feel it. The first whispers came softly, like a memory I couldn't quite remember. They were faint, carried by the wind. Come closer. I froze, trying to convince myself it was the wind or my imagination. But the whispers grew louder, more urgent, circling around me as if the forest itself was speaking. I tried to run, but the earth felt heavy. My legs moved like lead. Shapes flickered at the edges of my vision, dark shifting shadows that vanished whenever I turned my head. Then I heard breathing, slow, deliberate, somewhere just beyond the fog. A figure appeared between the trees, tall, dark, and impossibly still. I couldn't see its face, but I could feel it watching me. My flashlight flickered, then died, leaving me in absolute darkness. I tried to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. The figure melted into the shadows, leaving only the cold, damp air brushing against my skin. I stumbled blindly through the forest, panic clawing at me. Every tree seemed to move, reaching for me with long, skeletal branches. My breath came in ragged gasps, and every step threatened to sink me deeper into the soft, wet ground. Then I saw it, a faint light ahead. A cabin, old and abandoned, barely visible through the fog. Hope surged, and I ran. The whispers followed me, echoing off the trees. "You shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be here." I reached the cabin, my hands shaking as I grasped the door handle. The wood was cold, rough, almost alive beneath my fingers. I pushed it open. Inside, the cabin was empty, or so it seemed. Shadows moved across the walls, dancing in the glow of the moon through cracked windows. The air was thick, smelling of damp wood and decay. I could hear it again, the whispering, but now it was closer, more insistent. "You can't leave, you can't leave." I stumbled toward the back of the cabin and found a staircase leading down to a basement. Something drew me there, a force I couldn't resist. My flashlight flickered back on, illuminating a room filled with strange symbols carved into the walls. A cold wind blew from the basement, carrying voices I couldn't understand. Shapes shifted in the shadows, crawling along the walls like they were alive. I wanted to leave. I wanted to run back into the forest and escape, but the door slammed shut behind me. The whispers became a chorus, chanting in a language I couldn't comprehend. The symbols on the walls glowed faintly, and the shadows grew taller, stretching toward me with intent. I felt hands brush against my shoulder, cold, heavy. I spun around, but there was nothing there. Yet I wasn't alone. Something was in the room with me, unseen but present. Its breathing matched mine, slow and deliberate. I tried to scream, to fight, but my body refused. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time lost meaning. The forest, the cabin, the fog, it was all one living, breathing entity now, and it was hungry for me. I realized I had been foolish to enter, that the stories were true. The whispering forest doesn't let you leave. Eventually, the voices faded and the shadows receded, leaving me in silence. I stumbled out of the cabin at dawn, exhausted, wet and broken. But even in the daylight, the forest seemed alive, watching, waiting. And I knew I would return, because the forest remembers you, and once it does, it never lets you go.